Hold up. Okay, I need to be looking. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, about the Will Smith Chris Rock fiasco that happened. Here are my thoughts on this. And the reason why I'm actually doing this, usually I don't really involve myself with little trivial stuff like this. But because I feel that there are certain dynamics that came to play in this that a lot of people are not talking about, I thought I would offer my 2 cents. Anyway, the biggest question is regarding was Will correct in responding the way he did. The truth of that matter is this: I'm not Will Smith. I have no idea what he could have been going to. I have a theory though. So on that note, I can't really judge him directly, but all I can say for me is that I would like to think that had I been in that same situation, I would have dealt with it a little bit different than he did. Okay. Um, Let me see. There's the thought that the only reason why he went up on that stage because he knew that Chris was a smaller person and it had been anybody else up there, he wouldn't have went up there. I believe that. I believe that he would have thought twice about going up there had it been anyone else. And just that alone would have kept me from going up on that stage confronting him. But here's some thoughts that I haven't heard anybody really express, okay? I have a theory in regarding what exactly happened. A lot of people like to refer to the times past when they had their little Oscar tiff concerning boycotting the Oscars and he was hosting the Oscars and this, that, and the other. That could have played a part in a lot of it. It really could have played a part there. I think that what may have also been the part is the fact that you have well, let me get the alopecia thing out the way, okay? I'm not sure if Chris Rock knew that that was the reason why her hair was bald. I'm not aware if that was the case. If that was the case, then I would not have told that joke. Hold, bear with me one moment. Let me see something for a second. I'm turning my shadow on. Okay, all messages are visible. Okay, so um, yeah, I don't know for sure if he knew it. If he didn't know it, then I can understand why he would have said that, because I mean, truth be told, Jada rocks that bald head. She rocks it. And the fact that she did not come to the Oscars covering it up with a wig or a weave or anything, I think that says a lot. I really do. So he could have, even if he knew that what how she looked was based off of the alopecia, he could have thought that his joke was a way to add a certain levity to her situation. And I'm just going on a thing here because I know, speaking for myself, I have done that a time or two where all I'm thinking about is, well, something that I said people would take offense to it when I swear I was trying to be offensive by no means necessary. And I've done that also, and even telling a joke, the same thing. And people would have taken great offense when I really wasn't trying to be offensive. So, in the spirit of that, I think that maybe that may have been a case, because, G.I. Jane, I mean, what? That's not really a big insult. So that could have been a case, or it could have not been a case. But I think that it's possible that it could have been a case because I don't see Chris Rock trying to be very insensitive to an illness, a sickness, anything like that. I just don't see it. Okay, now from Will Smith's dynamic, and this is one thing that I've not heard anybody say, but I'm thinking that this could have very well been the case. You know, they his family has been under the spotlight um, for a lot of things in the past year and a half or so, right? A lot of it has not been favorable, you know. But the thing is that it's still his family. So, with that said, among everything else, he finds himself to be nominated for an Oscar for his role in this movie. And so I'm just thinking that when he came to the Oscars with his wife and they're sitting there in the forefront, I'm thinking in his mind is probably thinking, am I gonna get it? Am I gonna get it? Like I sure hope I get it, whatever. And then in the midst of him being in that mode of being celebrated, for this movie. I mean, the whole movie was like a somewhat of a big theme there at the Oscars. You had Wanda Sykes come out on stage dressed up like him, pushing a cart with tennis balls. I mean, that was sort of like a thing that was going on there. And so then Chris Rock get up there and he says what he says, and first Will Smith didn't really respond negatively at first, but then when he saw whatever look that Jada had, he went into a whole different mode because the mode that he was in was pretty much about, man, am I gonna win or what? Is I'm gonna get through this? And now it's like, oh damn, now my wife has been insulted, bringing back all the crap that he done had to go through this previous year. Now someone took him right back there again in a night that he really was trying to get his mind away from all that. And to me, I think that that played a part in how he responded the way that he responded. Okay, so he got up there, did his thing, and then what made it even worse, in my opinion, was him hollering and screaming as he walking off and sitting in the seat and still hollering and cursing. I thought that was that he could have at that point just chilled at that point. I mean, shoot, you done went up there and tagged dude, like okay. But anyway, but he didn't do that, and it was what it was. Now, here's another thing. I done heard a few times concerning people saying, when you see stuff like this, it makes us look bad. We look bad when we got two black men up there doing this and everything. I am centuries away from that whole dynamic about we look bad, this, that. Black people, quote unquote black people, I can go through a whole litany of the crap that we do collectively that really makes us look bad. And you wouldn't even believe it either. Okay? But I'm not going to get off into that right now. You can watch any of my other videos and you can pretty much imagine what I'm talking about. Okay? The thing is this, though. When you say it makes us look bad to who? Because you see, our enemy already have their own ideals concerning us looking bad or being perceived as being a bad people, whatever. And it don't take an incident like this for them to change to whatever form their perception of us, okay? So I have a problem when we make comments like that, because first of all, who is it that's judging us as looking bad? You know, we see white people fight. We see white people get into very embarrassing situations, right? And typically, when that happens, we don't really indict white people as whole. It's like, oh, they're making white people look bad, you know? Or just like in that old, like Oscars from years ago when the elder sister, she won for Gone with the Wind. I think she won Best Supporting Actress. She was the first one, And there were statements about her when they said, "Oh, you are." Oh, I no. Matter of fact, I stand corrected. She said something in terms about being a credit to her race. I think she said something like, "I hope that I am a credit to my race or whatever." Really? And our enemy actually makes statements like that, thinking that that is a compliment. You know, you are a credit to your race. That is the most racist statement that anyone can make, because you're saying that my race is shit, basically, but then one person come out and do something great. Oh, they're a credit to the race. And on the flip side, oh, you see what these guys did? Boy, they make your race look bad. They make us look bad. And then we get caught up in that foolishness. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in crap like that. Don't play into their way of thinking. That's just not a cool thing. You know, Chris Rock, he's a pretty accomplished cat. Will Smith, they're pretty accomplished. But they get into this tiff, and then all their accomplishments means absolutely nothing, because what they're doing now, they're making us look bad, y'all. We look bad. Oh, we as a whole, they might be careful about letting us collectively come back to the Oscars again because of this. That's crazy, you know. Like, let me show you just how this works, okay? I am a Hebrew Israelite, okay? But I go out here and I rob a bank, or I go out here and do just something that would be considered unlawful or illegal, okay? And I get arrested, okay? When I'm talked about on TV or in the newspapers or whatever, they will let you know that they say my name and I am a Hebrew Israelite. And if they dig deep enough, they say, oh, and he is a member of this particular congregation, whatever. Okay? Nobody blinks an eye at that. They're going to put all that out there in the media concerning me. And what I did was, what? I robbed a bank, or I robbed somebody, or I did whatever I did, whatever. Okay? But then when that Gentile goes out there and rob a bank, when that Gentile goes out there and molests some little kids or whatever, all he is George Jenkins or whatever, right? There's no word about who he affiliated with, what church he's a part of, what his denomination is, what lodge he's a member of. None of that comes into play. He's just one simple white guy that did this crime and this, that, the other. But when it comes down to us, we are on a microscope if we just happen to be a part of something that's just not considered the mainstream. And what happens is that they indict that whole entire community that we're a part of based off the actions of just this one person that had absolutely nothing to do with the community whatsoever. And see, that is an example of what I'm talking about when we talk about being a credit to your race or making us look bad as a whole or this, that, and the other. That why does that apply to us, but it don't apply to anybody else? Huh? If that had been two Asian guys that's going at it, whatever, who would have thought, like, oh man, that's the way Asians get down? They do that, be careful around the Asians, this, that, or the other. And we definitely don't do it with anybody of the white skin persuasion, because by default, they are the rule. They are not the exception. They are the elite. They know how to act. You understand what I'm saying? We don't know how to act, and the whole world knows that this is the perception. So it's weird. We cannot allow ourselves to think like that, into that whole they make us look bad dynamic. So that's really the reason why I wanted to do this video, because for someone to hear this, I want us to get out of that mindset. mindset. And I really wish I could get into what I think that we as a people do that really make us look bad, but I'm gonna save that whole dynamic for another time. But I'll just put it to you like this: we are the ones that always fight against cultural appropriation. Anytime there's some white guy out here rapping, right, or some sister singing soul, or anytime the Gentile does something that is perceived to be quote unquote black, and we rush to that cultural appropriation thing. Guess what? Before we can accuse somebody else of cultural appropriation, why don't we stop cultural appropriating their politics, their religion, their traditions? Why don't we remove ourselves from that? And then maybe then we can talk about cultural appropriation. Okay, I'll just put it like that. Okay, all right. But anyway, I just thought I'd take 16 minutes and 30 seconds to share that. Okay, thank you for listening. Comment below, and if you're moved to share this, that would be good too. And if you have not subscribed to the Spirit of Yah to our channel, please subscribe. That would do us a whole lot of good. Okay. Anyway, be blessed and continue to have a great week. Shalom.